Hello and welcome. I'm Jim Tolles. I'm a spiritual teacher. I wanted to talk a little bit about how I work with people. I'm glad that so many of you have found value in all the videos that I've been making here for some time, on and off, since somewhere around 2012, I believe. But to go a little bit deeper, we need personal engagement. This passive consuming world that we are living in does not usually change very much. We need people to know each other, to know one another, to listen. One of the things that I do in the work that I share with people is to deeply listen to them. Before I go any further, as a reminder, you can learn more about me through the other videos here on YouTube or at spiritualawakeningprocess.com, which I've been writing lots of content on. There's almost 1,000 posts there. I've been doing it since 2010. And that's when I started being a spiritual teacher, and I have spent a lot of time doing one-on-one sessions. In this video, I want to talk more about classes, because what I've learned is that people need a kind of ladder into deeper one-on-one work, into the deeper sort of listening space that I have with others. The classes are around a variety of topics. I've done quite a few topics, mapping out the ego, breathwork, meditation. I've talked about the ego grind. I've talked about different healing cycles that we go through and letting go of attachments. I've talked about how a lot of people have to get used to the fact that they have to heal when they don't really feel like they have any major problems. All attachments cause suffering. We're all going to go through different forms of healing, not just those people who've had more significant and severe traumas. I talk about that in these classes. I talk about ego death. I talk about spiritual awakening. I talk about spiritual freedom. I've covered a lot of topics and continue to do so. The format is an hour and a half with 45 minutes where I share the thoughts that I have of the day, and it's different for every class. So I can be talking about ego death and spiritual awakening, have two different classes, and they're two different classes, really, based on who's there and based on where I am in that moment. This is part of the teaching of surrender. Be where you are now. Where you are now is where you are now. This is where your attention is. This is the work that needs to be done. The back half is for questions and answers. And this is a way where people can get to know me and have a little bit more interaction. And from there, I often invite people into my communities, and I'll have a lot more to share on this channel around communities, the importance, the deep lack of community that we have in our lives, and how detrimental that is. I'll have a lot more to say about how trying to do the solitary spiritual path really doesn't make a lot of sense. Our tendency is to fall into our ego patterns. It matters to have a healthy community. Emphasis on healthy. It's very important to have a community dedicated towards spiritual freedom, not just whatever spiritual things people are all talking about. There's a lot of different things there. All that matters to create a space where people can go deeper inside themselves. And then that sets up that next rung that is very successful in getting people ready to work with me one-on-one, in the deep listening and reflections that I offer to people, and the places I help them see that they have to go. And invariably, the places we have to go are the places our ego has been avoiding. The tools and tips I offer are not the things that people are expecting most of the time. I offer what is needed to the best of my ability. And that's what I offer in the classes, the communities, as well as the one-on-one work. And then at the very end of all this, if somebody, after all of this inner work and seeing more clearly in themselves, truly wants to be a spiritual teacher, I do offer mentorship. But again, the doorway is the online classes. And I invite all of you who are listening to come and join. And the best way to do that is to sign up for my free newsletter. That's where I announce them. Down in the description is a link where you can sign up for the free newsletter. You can unsubscribe at any time that you want. I encourage you, take that next step. Come join me for a class or two. The topics will be different each time, but the essence of helping you to realize spiritual freedom will remain the same. Thank you for your time. I look forward to seeing you again.